how special has the Northwest and Southwest regions been managed through the special status. We're talking about the effective implementation of the fast-tracked decentralization process in Cameroon. We also are going to be looking at the countdown to the 2025 presidential elections. How engaged are youth? We're going to be discussing on what it will take to mobilize youth before, during, and after the presidential elections so that we mitigate any chance of having violence during the process. We're going to be discussing the panelists who are with me in the studio. We have the president of the Southwest Youth League, Mr. Eswa Kizito, who is with us. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and good evening to my very good friend, Mr. Moa. It's been ages we met. Good evening to Mr. Andang Terence, one of my members of the executive of the Southwest Youth League, and good evening to my younger brother and very good friend, Tamai Jarvis, with whom we paraded the streets of Boya during the heart of the crisis. It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening to all televiewers, and once again, happy to be here.
Okay. Yes, we also are guested by Mr. Mark Mwalimu Kumpol. He is the editor-in-chief of the African Excellence magazine, coming all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital.
Good evening, Lo. I'm happy to be here again. It's always a pleasure to cross the Mongo to be part of this program. Happy to meet the persons who man the Southwest Youth League for the first time on a plateau like this.
Okay.
Hoping that we develop the issues for the interest of our televiewers.
We also have Mr. Andang Terence, who is with us in tonight's edition. This should be his second appearance on Prime. Good evening. Glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Thank you once more for giving me this opportunity to come again on my Media Prime to talk on issues that concern our country, which as they remember, this is a year which is pregnant. We have elections, presidential elections, which is coming up in October, and next year we are also having the legislative and municipal elections. And so it is always a privilege for me to come on this podium and talk on issues that concern our country. Good evening to my fellow panelists. Thank you very much, Mr. Leo.
Tamai Jarvis is also part of tonight's panel. Good evening, Jarvis. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening to all the panelists. It is kind of a passive day in the light of the Church of the Roman Catholic Church, where Pope Francis has actually journeyed to meet his Creator. It is a difficult moment to some persons, a moment where many people are asking questions: who heads the church now? The days ahead, conclaves will actually take place within 15 to 20 days after the Pope must have been buried. Then the College of Cardinals will decide. And there's one important question that some Catholics have been asking. I know we are not talking about it, let me just address them. That in the Eucharistic prayer, when they always say that, remember Lord, your church president, the place of the Pope, together with Francis, our Pope, who would they call now when they are celebrating the Mass? During that period, when they reach that place, they will just call just the name of the bishop and just continue. Hopefully that when the new Pope comes in, they will now sit together with Francis or whoever Pope and that bishop.
Okay. We'll start the program with you, Mwalimu Makmwa. Yes, with your appraisal of the special status accorded to the Southwest and Northwest regions since inception.
Well,
what has changed definitely?
This is a call for an evaluation of what has happened since 2019 and now. That's my imagination, and I would like to say that to be properly apt to make an evaluation of any development, any project, it is always good to go back to the pillars that the proponents or the authors of such a project set. I think that the proponents of special status for the Northwest and Southwest had picked measurable peace. I mean, approximate peace, like what is happening now. On easy calmness, on easy peace, as their reference. At the time of proposing the special status. If I were to go by that, I would say their objectives have been attained because at least there's uneasy peace in the northwest and southwest. Uneasy because the major problems that have been rocking the northwest and southwest are there. But those proponents are very satisfied that they have reached this level because the special status was never designed to solve the problems in the northwest and southwest regions. In fact, the special status cannot solve the problems in the northwest and southwest regions. It needs deeper work. It needs deeper opening up of dialogue and other things for the problems in the southwest, northwest regions to be attained. So, if you ask me, I would say, largely in the view by what was presented, I can judge that the proponents of special status set their objectives, and these are the objectives they have attained. But the southwest and northwest have not sent peace as it's supposed to be. Decentralization that they even talk about, where is it? Well, where is the decentralization? Let's forget about how is it working. So that was their peak. That was their peak, and they have set it. They have achieved it. But the solutions to the crisis in the northwest and southwest still have to be proffered. Otherwise.
I want us to be clear in what we are saying. In other regions, we have regional councils.
Yes.
In the northwest and southwest, we have regional assemblies.
Yes.
We have the House of Chiefs in the southwest and northwest regions. Is there anything special in the way things are operating in these two regions, because now they rather run assemblies and House of Chiefs compared with what obtains in the other regions?
That's what, in my view, that's what actually obtains on paper. If you ask people, even those concerned, those who are holding the offices, when you talk with them informally, I emphasize informally, they will tell you that there's nothing in what is here, because they have not been given the leverage to actually operate as it's presented. But what happens is that they are not as independent to act as they are presented. If you want to talk about, for instance, the public independent conciliator, for instance, in both regions, they have the latitude to be able to moderate the actions of other state officials. There are resistances. You will see a simple method as the public independent conciliator that their office does not have anything to do with us. So there are tussles that happen like that.
But they do annual reports. That for the Southwest has done a report, as well as that for
exactly.
They do the reports and present to the presidency, and it
ends at that. You have.
I wish to correct something there. You are quite right by saying that the mayors will tell the public independent conciliator. You know, the first and foremost, the office of the public independent conciliator, just like the regional assembly, are fallouts of the major national dialogue. And if you look at the activities of the public independent conciliator per se, stricto sensu, the public independent conciliator is not a boss, or it's not a boss to any mayor. It's not. The public independent conciliator just comes in to reconcile differences between the councils and public users. So, like we had this argument somewhere where people say there is a school of thought which holds that the public independent conciliator or the council, the mayors are answerable to the public independent conciliator. No, it's not true.
That is not what I didn't even insinuate that. I am saying that in the course of mediating between higher authorities and the mayors, some mayors have overtly told the public independent conciliator that
you step aside.
You step aside.
Okay.
So I'm not. It's not. Nobody is bossing the other here. But when you have a mediator, at least you should be able to give a chance, to listen to and to be listened to.
Okay.
But you knock off without.
Can I now put? Has anything changed tangibly since the inception of the special status in the Southwest and Northwest regions?
Yes, personally I feel that a lot of things have changed. However, there is still a lot of work to be done. You know, a lot of work to be done from the fact that first and foremost we have to be sincere. There are a lot of persons who do not even know that office exists. Just like the office of the Public Independent Conciliator. Coming from the Southwest and being the president of the Southwest Youth League, I personally know, as a matter of fact, that the Public Independent Conciliator for the Southwest, Madame Dorothy LLN, has been doing a lot to sensitize the users of the existence of that office. Like I initially said, it is a fallout of the major national dialogue. First and foremost, the names. Remember that it is enshrined in the Constitution that the Northwest and Southwest, because of their cultural, linguistic peculiarities, may have special status. Now, when I was given during the major national dialogue and enacted into law on December 12, 2019 by the head of state, the appellations speak for themselves. You know, the 8 other regions have regional councils, while in the Northwest and Southwest we have regional assemblies. So I have worked so closely with these 2 houses in the Southwest region. I don't want to talk about the Northwest because I am based in Boya. I've worked so closely with these 2 houses, and I have had the opportunity to witness situations where the regional assembly has intervened. For instance, I think that was 2 years ago, the roof of some classes of GHS Bukwango were blown off, and if I'm not mistaken, it took the regional assembly less than no time to make sure that those things are taken care of. You know, if you go to the regional assembly, has installed solar systems in most villages in the Southwest region. From my own area where I come from Maninguba, that has been done. It is a fact. In as much as we might say that they have not done, or they still have a lot to do, but overtly coming to the public and say that these houses have not done nothing, I think it will be a total fallacy. So as far as in as much as we are asking them to do more because we are the users,
Mr. President, what has changed with the way things are managed in the Southwest and Northwest regions differently from what obtains in the different regions, because these regions are under the special status?
Now, under the special status, like the word itself goes, in the other regions, first, the names change. Now, when it comes to performing their acts, we have what you call the House of Chiefs, which is headed by a president. In the case of the Southwest, we have Chief Ateme Bako. Now, if you look at the composition, even within the members and councillors, it is not done the same. Now, I will plead, and with your permission, to reserve some comments, because I have not been mandated by that house to talk on certain aspects. But I know, as a matter of fact, that a lot of things are going on which have changed. Now, like the situation I told you, I just made mention about the incident which took place at Bukwango. Before the situation of the special status in the Northwest and Southwest, it would have taken the regional delegate of basic or of secondary education for the Southwest region to prepare documents left, right, center, start meeting the school. Probably if the PTA could not meet up, it would have been a situation where maybe we would have had that school down for a year while waiting for Yaoundé to give authorization.
Yes. Would have stayed down for a year. Yeah.
So it's just an example, but because of that situation, the regional assembly stepped in less than 48 hours to rescue that situation. I was brought under control. So I feel that to an extent, certain things have changed.
Now, this is what I think, Leonard. This is what I think. The regional assembly, the House of Chiefs, that came in should have been maybe to help the most heralded decentralization process that was pronounced. And you are saying that for a roof to be brought down in a school, it takes a body to have been created to be able to intervene.
We know how that operates.
You and who?
No, we know how those things operate here.
What do you think about the role of a mayor in a city like Boya, who is said to be the harbor of decentralization? Do you think that if there were real decentralization in the true sense of that word, a mayor would not be able to address issues of a roof? You see, this is,
and that's why the
this
mayor
is
comes.
betrayal. What you have said, what you have said is betrayal of the inconsequentiality of those bodies. You've betrayed how inconsequential some of them might be.
Which body?
Because it sounds like they are just doubling the duties. They are accumulating the duties of what could have been done by the mayor. I don't want to get there. I'm now saying that I don't want to think that those bodies are white elephant. You know what a white elephant is?
Please,
that thing that is very expensive to keep than useful for the country.
You live in the Southwest.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have the impression that the people of the Southwest region, as well as those of the Northwest region, actually understand that there is an assembly, a regional assembly for these regions, there is a House of Chiefs, and actually know what these guys should be doing? Do they know their functions?
Thank you, Mr. Liu. As a result of the major national dialogue that took place in 2019, the law of decentralization was carved out, it was born. And so the North and Southwest were given special status. Yeah. By this I mean the North and Southwest, they have regional assemblies, while the other regions have regional councils. And so in the specificities now is that in the regional assembly we have the divisional representatives, we have the House of Chiefs, and we have the public independent conciliator. Now the divisional representatives, as a result, because the main aim of the decentralization is to bring the administration closer to the people. And so if by bringing people from the divisions to represent their people at the regional level, it already tells you that they can channel their problems at the divisional level and bring it at the regional assembly. Of course, we all know that the regional assembly in its creation has financial autonomy. They have their budget, and they have their projects that they execute. Just like my president was saying, that the roof aspect was being taken care of. And so the people of the Southwest and Northwest, they know of these particular specificities. It is not an issue that we should come here and we are deliberating again on. It is just the matter of the fact that some of them are not being sensitized enough. But I think the Office of Public Independent Constitutor has been doing a lot of sensitization, of which I myself have been a liaison officer in my subdivision. And so we have been channeling disputes that emanates from the councils, from the various council areas, to the Office of the Public Independent Conciliators. For example, there are issues of birth certificate where the councils will ask people to pay money after 30 days when you give birth to a child. And so all these issues. But then the BUNEC, the Office of the BUNEC, they make us to understand that the birth certificates are free. Birth certificates are free. And so people, they to themselves, they go down on the field and they sensitize people. So a lot of sensitization has been done, though we still need a lot of sensitization to be done. And so I think personally that people of the South and Northwest, they know that these offices do exist.
You have served as a liaison officer to the regional assembly or the
public independent conciliator,
and they have been existing since 2019. Yeah, tangibly speaking, what have they done that the population of the region can say these are some of the acts engaged or orchestrated by these bodies to make them see things differently? You say they run a budget. How much is that budget to be able to run a region? What projects because they run budget for, I'm sure, 3 billion, something like that?
The
assemblies, yes.
Yeah, I think close to that amount. But the public independent conciliator does not go close to that.
No, let's leave the public independent conciliator, because they are there too. Since you have raised the issue of engaging in developmental issues, 3 billion for a region, that is an amount that some councils in Douala, that is half the amount of some councils in Douala. When you allocate 3 billion francs CFA to an assembly that is supposed to
run the entire region,
how much is used to run just the assembly, and what is left for the region?
Yes, just as like I said, the regional assembly, they have their projects. Before they give them the budget, they have their projects. I'm not part of the regional assembly to know how they manage their budget, but I know that that budget that they are being given to, they manage it very well.
When every anniversary is an opportunity to reward loyalty, Orange is here to celebrate its 25th anniversary with all Cameroonians. Many prizes to win for the occasion, tourism trips, latest smartphones, and lots of other surprises. Quick, subscribe to Orange Bonus on #111*1# or via the Maxit app. Gather a max of points and try to win great prizes. Orange is here.
Billion francs CFA is
because the Boya Council is already getting closer to that amount.
Yep,
so if a council within the region is challenging your budget, and then you have a budget to run the region, in other words, you are telling us that the mayor is matching past with the regional assembly president. So personally, I feel that the budget is very, very inconsequential.
Can we really see a regional assembly that operates within a region? Can we see some landmark actions or engagements that they have taken that tells the people that we are now under a special status? We now have a house. We now have houses either for the chiefs or the regional assembly that can now take some. I'm talking about landmark activities. You raised the issue of Bokwango. I don't know how significant that is. Let him come in briefly.
You see, if I am not mistaken, from what I got, the repairs of the regional assembly allocated, I think maybe 50 million, something like that, in that project. You see, Mr. Leo, 3 billion is not. If you, let's go to the area of road construction.
I
just want to take
Limbe City Council. What's their budget?
Limbe City Council is running on a budget of close to 7 billion.
So
Douala City Council is running on a budget of, I think, close to 30 billion, something like that. So it means that, let's even go back to that, my same Boya. University of Boya has 3 times that budget of the regional assembly. So I don't even see how, how conveniently a regional assembly can roll with a budget of 3 billion. Let's even say that, okay, the 3 billion is at hand, cash. And let's say, okay, we want to be very, very equal here, impartial. We distribute that 3 billion among the 6 divisions of the Southwest region.
No,
I'm just trying to make a point.
What you have to understand is that 3 billion also includes the running cost of
the assembly.
Yes.
Payment
so
of
you have to
staff,
So at the
end of the day, for developmental activities, because, trust me, Mr. Leo, just make sure allowances will take at least half of that budget. Also, I've not shouted. So you see, what we are saying is that in as much as we are seeing that the regional assembly has done some work and they are still doing their work, we will add a voice here. I will talk as the president of the Southwest League, which means I have the interest to protect the youth of that region. We want to add our voices to the state of Cameroon. That 3 billion as a running budget for the Southwest Regional Assembly is an insult. Because at the end of the day, you are putting the president of the Regional Assembly at a very tight corner. Because at the end of you are putting him at a very tight corner, because you find situations where you tell the youths of the region, Northwest and Southwest, that they should venture into developmental activities and projects. At the end of the day, when these youths put themselves together, they see the regional assembly as the home of solace. And eventually, when they approach the regional assembly, and the regional assembly tells them, we cannot sponsor your project because of this, it becomes a failure, sir.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, we are pressing that something should be done to make these regional assemblies to be very, very powerful because they are powerful on paper.
At the level of the traditional of the House of Chiefs, what has changed?
Mr. Leo, you see,
from the cultural and traditional standpoint, what has changed?
You see, the truth is that I cannot lay my hands exactly on what has changed. I don't want to come on air and tell you that.
You who is the president I'm talking because maybe things are being done, but once you don't communicate with the people, they will not know what
exactly. And that's before I hand the mic to you, and that's why we, to an extent, we are where we are today. Lack of communication.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that till today that we speak, understand? Let's say things the way they are. We know we shall hurt some persons, but that's okay. There are a lot of persons who do not even know that there is a structure known as the regional assembly or the office. I mean, so we have a serious problem with communication.
I'm coming back to yes. Yeah.
I think they said justice should not be done, but should be seen to have been done. And the issue is the special status that was accorded to the Northwest and Southwest region was based on the fact that the government had looked at two issues, the educational and the legal issues. That let us look at how we can give this special status to manage this. The question is 2019 to date, how fast and how far and how best have we been within the special status? Now, in terms of justice, should not only be seen to have been done, should not only be done, but should be seen to have been done. That is not the case with the special status. I heard that talks have been, mobilization have been in the Southwest region, but I will tell you, as someone who is constantly on the ground in Munya, which is just 250 to Boya, the Munya people don't know about the special status or the independent consulators.
No, some
majority of the Munya people don't know about majority. Let me use the word majority. If you do a small sample, a purposive sample, you will. Now, let me take you further to Bomaka, which is just a stone throw. The people who actually build the economy, whom the special status should leverage on them and see how they can work with them to pull the economy of the region, they seemingly don't know much about the special status. Now the question is, who is doing what, where and how? Like my senior brother Mawapo was saying, if you look at, like he explained the issue of the roof, and he asked the question that if we look at this, does it take, should we go to the special status level to get that roof done, or should we get to the regional assembly to get that roof done? Look like example. Let me give you Bamenda. Bamenda has the regional assembly, but the roads in Bamenda that are not major roads are a problem. The same thing with debt all over. Bamenda has mayors. Bamenda has mayors, those mayors also have budgets. The same thing is being done. Debts are still everywhere. The roads are not still being constructed. Bamenda has the independent consulator that see how these offices are functioning and can, like a liaison office. The Bamenda itself has now a city mayor. The question is, who is doing what, where, and how? Now, to add to it, we have the reconstruction, and we also have the DDR, all these services. The question now is, how best has the special status been able to do tangible things? Let me draw a one case example within the traditional issue that you asked Mr. Eswa, the chieftaincy issue. The Miami issue is a textbook example of what the special status or the House of Chiefs ought to have done. What happened in Miami, the chief crisis issue that we saw in Miami, what did the House of Chiefs say? What were their position? How did they come in to resolve it? We saw indigenous of Miami moved right to the governor's office to protest that, hey, sir, this is what is happening in our land. But the question is, the House of Chiefs, and in their jurisdiction, it said they have the consultative role to explain the way in which chiefdoms are supposed to be run in their locality. They have the mandate to explain.
And that's why I have a little problem with the special status till date, because the governor still oversees the activities of the house because he's a representative of the state. So it's more or less like. But
the text describes the president as the chief executive officer.
But the governor is the representative of the state. during budgetary sessions, it is the governor who oversees.
And there is an independent conciliator who is also representing the state in that same special status.
It's more like the governor is still the boss of the president of the regional assembly. I don't know.
Let me just land. Let me just land briefly. As I was the issue about the chiefdom is a practical example. Number 2 example that we should experience here about this, the regional, the spatial status that we are talking about, is also the issue of local development. The issue of local development. Let us ask ourselves the question: what have they done at the level of farm to market roads? Well, these are roads that we believe. For example, take Southwest Region. Ekona is one of the high agricultural area. Munyenge, Bafia, go to Kumba. All these areas that produce a lot. We say the Southwest Region is the bread basket of some part, is a bread basket of the nation. Now you ask yourself, the farming season that has come March, that has expired, is almost finishing. What steps did this regional council do to ensure that the farmers who are there feel their impact more, because they are the ones that will boost the economy, where that same budget that he has talked about, which is an estimate of government of a revenue and expenditure within the next fiscal year, because these are the people that will generate the taxes, will pay the taxes that you will get to run your region. Now the farming season has come and gone. We have not seen a concrete step where they say, okay, let us address farming season. Is existing in both Northwest and Southwest region. I believe that the special status had that role to play. And I will say this, that whoever is at the head of an institution also determine how best that institution is run. There are some people that if you give them this special status as the regional assembly president, power is not given, it is seized. Take this power, use the power, let people say you are going against the people. Now let somebody say you are going against it. Now the people will say, okay, but this is what the text said, this is what the text is not saying. But the context is, when you shy, you sit in your position, and I'll tell you this, most of them don't grant interviews. They don't even tell what is happening. They don't have an active communication channels. They don't even do press conferences. At times, you just sit and you see communicate, and nobody's there to explain. You run behind them to get to talk to them. But in the United States, I sit here, I write a U.S. Senate, and he replies me in real time, and I get the information. How do we know what you are doing when you don't let us know what you are doing? The question is, are you afraid that will question you? And the budget, the 3 billion. If you want to see, the government probably is giving that 3 billion because on the assumption that there are other functioning institution within that division. For example, mayors, they have budget. What will the mayor do? To me, I think that the special status, we need to look at it again and carve out and restructure, because there's a lot of double, what we call economic double counting.
Okay. Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, Mr. Jervis, I would like to differ a bit from you, because a lot of work has been done on the ground.
With facts.
A lot of work has been done on the ground. The Office of the Public Independent Conciliator, they have been distributing flyers. They have been going on air. Remember when we were held meeting with them, they told us how far they have been doing, and we ourselves have been have also been doing the work. So I think the problem now lies with the Cameroonians. You know, Cameroonians, they don't like to read. Cameroonians, how many Cameroonians will go and most Cameroonians, most of them don't read. You put an information inside a textbook, and the Cameroonian will never know what it is. Because Cameroonians, they don't read. They don't even listen to radio. They don't even go to watch. They don't watch news. How so a lot of work has been done.
I am a journalist. I will tell you, me personally, I've run. In fact, I've been running behind these same officials. Let me say it with reference. Please. To get interviews. Second, their Facebook.
Let him learn.
And so a lot of work has been done. Just to tell you, a lot of work has been
facts,
done.
Without
facts. Of course, I myself, I have been working.
May I just say?
About facts. The facts are
Please.
And so coming to the issue of the chiefs issue. Now when the special status was being put in place and the House of Chiefs was also formed, now we should remember that the House of Chiefs is there to maintain the cultural aspects of the Southwest and Northwest region, so that those cultures should be maintained. That culture and tradition, it should be maintained, not that it should be changed, because you remember we have the crisis in the coastal regions, where the administrators, they impede on they try to influence the choosing of chiefs. But I think that the chiefs are doing a lot to maintain the cultural aspect of the Southwest and Northwest region.
But personally, Mr. Leo, just to add, I feel that there is some kind of conflict of interest here, because I don't get the ingredients which separate the House of Chiefs from the
regional
Chiefs Conference. There's
Yeah.
a serious conflict in this situation.
I said
Because
double counting.
somebody, I don't know the duty of the House of Chiefs within the regional assembly and the duties of the Southwest Chiefs Conference. Because you find a situation where the president of House of Chiefs will say this, the president of the Southwest Chiefs Conference takes a different position. Like what is happening now in the Southwest region, the Southwest Chiefs Conference held a meeting, and they are presently planning the Southwest Cultural Festival in the month of December, of which, everything being equal, that would have been under the supervision of the House of Chiefs, under the Regional Assembly. But that's not what is being done. So I think there is some kind of conflict of interest here, which has to be handled and in urgency, because I can't really situate the difference between those two houses.
Okay. Yes, more.
It has to be said abundantly clear that this is what the proponents of the special status wanted. I will not dissociate myself from that view. I've said this, they came out with this idea and they set their objectives. The objectives were to see the minimal base, minimal quell down in the violent crisis, in the conflicts as we have now. By now, I insist that it seems to me that they have achieved their objective, even if there's problems in the Northwest and Southwest have not been attained. These are the indicators that I'll give you. One of them has been raised, the budget. You create a regional house, and it has to run on a budget of 3 billion francs. I mean, ridiculous 3 billion francs to man over the affairs of the region, developmental affairs. We're not talking about the mouth-watering allowances they have to pay themselves from that 3 billion just to be able to choke with the inactivity of the organization and then stay quiet. I mean, choking in the inactivity and staying quiet. You see, that was the master plan. The master plan was that just give an approximate structure so that people can begin to confuse themselves with. And then you bypass the solution to the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest. This was the plan.
It's an assumption anyway.
No, that's my view.
That's why it's an assumption.
I'm not assuming, it's my view. It's my view, sir. Because I see the satisfaction that comes with it, and I'm not seeing the palpable development on the ground, and I'm wondering what is the connection. Why so much satisfaction when I'm not seeing the development on the ground? It goes, I mean, inductively, I draw that the plan was to get this, just moderately appease the people and let it lie. If you are expecting that budget to increase soon, you have to wait and dust will grow on your feet. Because that's how the regime functions. They will give it to you. You want a special status, they have given it to you. Go and get the money. 3 billion francs is what they can take overnight and put into football. Yeah, right. And pay off. I mean, they can do that. If recently they took 1 billion and gave off. Was it 2 billion or 1 billion? They paid with the left hand. But that's what the regional house should be running on. To do what? To present itself as a body that can man issues in the region. By a body,
the thing that football is national.
A body in incapacity. What?
Football is national.
Football is national. We will come to that when we talk about the engagement of the youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Football is national. So many messages are coming. I'll soon read some of them. But the regional house of assembly is existing in the Northwest and Southwest regions. Yes, because I want us to get the real essence of the impact and whether people are aware of it. You have the Regional House of Assembly, you have the House of Chiefs. Have you seen the people of either the Southwest or Northwest having a problem and are moving to these houses to intervene?
I just forgot one thing before it comes in, please. I forgot one thing. A lot of communication is being attempted by both the regional house and the public independent conciliators. I can say this because I follow the different outlets, media outlets that are exploited. But there seems to be a quiet denial of the population to heed to what is even happening. I do not want to think that it is because of the perception they had from the beginning that dust was being thrown on their faces in the creation of these bodies to dodge away from where the problem was. Because sincerely, I'm seeing the effort of the public. I take the case of Boya, the Southwest, the public independent conciliator in the Southwest. I mean, when it comes to attempts, endeavors to communicate, they are doing it. But the population seems to deliberately be keeping away from heeding to those calls. So I should be trying to carry out a research to see whether there's no deliberate denial to heed those messages.
Okay.
Just like what the other Mr. Moa said, I think the timing of the instituting of the regional assembly it was as a result of agitations from the northwest and southwest, because there was problem, and I think in trying to resolve this problem, that was what the government proposed. So I'm sure the people that are still trying to digest and try to see how they can. But personally, I think that a lot of work has been done, a lot of sensitization has been done, and the people that are not heeding, just as you said, the people are not heeding to those calls, and so a lot of work still has to be done. A lot of the sensitization which they are doing,
Can we say that the population on ground today knows the job description of both houses? It is there in text. I have the text. I can read them out. But yeah, are the people aware of what they should expect from these houses? Can we say that 3/4 of the people of the Southwest know the name of the president of?
They have refused to know. It seems that they have refused to know.
After this, please.
Yes, I think because just as you are saying that, I mean, on the ground you are not seeing concrete impact of these bodies. So I think there is a misunderstanding somewhere, because the regional assembly and the other bodies, they are doing their job. On the field we are not seeing the results, because the people I'm not saying there's no result, but the people, they are not heeding to these calls. The people they are not accompanying these bodies. So I think a lot of work still has to be done.
I'll add to the fact that it boils down to effective communication, and you have to go down to leave those air conditioning offices, go down and meet the people. Now I'll tell you that before the demise of late Ekema Patrick, 99% of residents in Boya could tell you who the mayor of Boya was.
With facts.
The person.
Before the death of Ekema Patrick, if you had met 100 youths of Boya, 98 would tell you the name of the mayor of Boya.
Even with picture,
they could identify him by picture. Hey, that's the mayor. Why? Because he was constantly in the field. You hear he talk, whether for good or for bad, you hear Ekema speak. So we are challenging these leaders to go down to the people and talk. You see, when you are the president of the regional assembly, the public independent conciliator, I can vouch for the public independent conciliator because personally I know the works she has been doing. In fact, she has been doing a lot. She has sent messages on prime time news, on CRTV, Radio Boya, Radio Bonakanda, social media. I mean, go down, meet these people. There is nothing wrong. This woman organizes meetings all over. She has done so in Bangem, she has done so in Tombe, she has done so in Limbe, she has done so in Mafe, she has done that in Boya countlessly. But that's why, to an extent, if you follow her report, you realize that the number of cases she had in 2023 and those she had in 2024, there was a very big difference. The ones in 2024 were higher because she communicates. So we are saying that these officials should leave the comfort of these offices. We know they enjoy AC, that's true. But they should leave these offices, go to some of them, or say it is. I represent the youth of the region. So if you want to take my head, they should take it. So they feel so big, so achieved. In fact, at times, even for them to receive people is a problem. I take my case as a regional president of the Southwest League, even to receive people, and they have this bad perception that when you come to them, they always come to come and beg. Whereas you have a burning issue which needs urgent attention. At times, you even call them on phone to give them sensitive information which could be harnessed instantly. They don't take your calls. So we feel that the time has come for us to tell them that you were put in that office. You are a servant to the people. And your doors should be open when they go on air. At the occasional moments that they go on air, they tell the world that their doors are open to receive people. It's not true, sir. Very few open their doors freely for you. So let them open those doors for people to come in with their problems and solve them. You will not call somebody at let's say 9 p.m. for an emergency that he will just react immediately and the problem is solved. They tell you are calling me at all hours, what should I do? Leave it tomorrow. By tomorrow that problem might have escalated. So these people should understand that they are there to serve the public.
No. When the people of these regions, these offices were set up since 2019. 2025, that's more than 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Can the people in these regions today rush to these offices when they have key problems? Because that is when
it depends on the problem.
Okay.
For instance, you have a problem with the mayor. You have a problem with the mayor.
No,
what are you going to the regional assembly to do?
So what?
You seize the office of the public independent conciliator. So it depends on the nature of the problem.
Okay.
I think know that the public independent conciliator is not a court hall. He has a mandate, or she has a mandate in the case of the Southwest to try to resolve
the regional assembly. The regional assembly has officers in charge of education.
Yes, the commissioners. Commissioners, we call them commissioners.
Yes, they have all of this. So people may have problems in these domains. Do they rush to the regional delegates? Or they are rushing
that's where another conflict of interest comes.
Because
you have a regional delegate of secondary education. Do they still have a commissioner who is in charge of secondary education within that same region?
Yeah,
so who does what, when and how?
Within these years of operation, have we really seen them doing the work? Can the people now say, I have a problem, a principal say, I have a problem, and I'm rushing to
the commissioner in charge of education at the regional assembly? I'm telling you that if 100 principals have problems in their schools, right? In Boya, Southwest, 99 will go to the regional delegate.
So
close this thing. Close this regional.
I think personally, these bodies were created just as you said. The budget, they have a very tight budget, and so we don't see the impact. People they might be having cases, but have never heard of these cases being resolved because they don't have the budget. And there's another aspect: the legal framework within which they operate. They don't have a legal framework. There should be a law that is being voted in the parliament on how they are going to be operating and how they can sanction people and call them to book. But now you will make they might be cheating cases, and then it ends up only making reports and sending to the presidency. So there should be a legal framework.
No, they have laws.
I think like the public is very conciliator. She can the maximum.
You will only say that they are advisory.
Yeah,
but they have laws, and that's the dogs that I'm talking about. You don't create a body like that. That only comes to duplicate other bodies with no power to act. With no, I mean, it even further compounds the issue when you create a body that does not have the power to act. At best, it can mediate, and then send reports. So every year, we are going to be grading the public independent conciliator on did you do an annual report this year, and that's how we are going to be grading, because you don't expect to squeeze water out of a rock. You don't expect that. That's the most they can do.
Yeah.
Because the law does not provide for them to do anything
sanction.
better than that.
I think you asked a question about if the people can actually run to these bodies, and the answer is simple. The people cannot, because, like we said, effective communication. Like I get my brothers here saying that a lot's been done, a lot. In research, there's what we call, it should be quantifiable, and it should be tangible. And the unit of analysis to measure that a lot is based on the people's reaction. To know that a lot has been done is based on people's reaction to those offices and people's awareness to those offices. Like my senior brother Moye said that he believed that the people may have maybe deliberately refused, but I may beg to differ. Yeah, because I was in the regime of, we witnessed the regime of Mayor Kema. Wherever he goes, you see, he was everywhere. And like Mr. Kizito said, whether good or bad, he was everywhere.
When every anniversary is an opportunity to reward loyalty, Orange is here to celebrate its 25th anniversary with all Cameroonians. Many prizes to win for the occasion, tourism trips, latest smartphones, and lots of other surprises. Quick, subscribe to Orange Bonus on #111*1# or via the Maxit app. Gather a max of points and try to win great prizes. Orange is here.
Bienvenue à la 10e édition de SARCA, le Salon africain de la relation client et des centres d'appel. Cette année, nous plongeons dans le thème Intelligence artificielle et expérience client. L'Afrique s'engage. Imaginez un futur où l'intelligence artificielle révolutionne le service client. Il y aura des expositions, conférences et formations. Rejoignez-nous pour célébrer cette évolution au SARCA du 23 au 25 avril 2025 à l'hôtel Aqua Palace Douala. Soyez acteurs du changement.
Pay your taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. The solution is close to you. Enter an Express Exchange agency, head to the cash register with your tax notice, and make your payment of tax and custom fees with ease. Receive a confirmation receipt. So cool, Mula. Yes, Mula. From now on, I pay my taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. It's simple. Express Exchange, partner of the Guild and the Directorate General of Taxation. Express Exchange, #1 in quality service in Cameroon.
To understand that the regional house, the assembly, the regional house of chiefs, they are, like I said, in the context of decentralization. The regional delegations are there. They still have their relevance, channeling the projects that come from the central government. But this is what was planned for people to tussle. How much of funding is sent for decentralization from the central government? I mean, if you have a commissioner for education that is pitted under the umbrella of a 3 billion franc budget that we do not even know how, I can't tell how that can be split to make any meaningful development in education. And there's a regional delegate of education who has funds that are coming directly from the ministry. She is handing you realize that the commissioner for education in the regional house cannot talk. He cannot even open his mouth in public because that budget, the umbrella budget, is nothing. But they can't speak. To be very sincere with you, I sympathize with those who are in those houses because I see them caged in very uncomfortable circumstances, but they cannot speak up. It looks like their mouths are buckled. Their mouths are buckled. And I think that the only thing they are comfortable with is the allowances and salaries that they're getting, for which we have also heard cries where allowances and budgets have to take a lot of time, funding has to take a lot of time, subventions have to take a lot of time to come in. And they will not say it. You see, what we are talking about here is lack of political will. That Yaoundé has not decided to give a special status in the merry sense of that word to the Northwest and Southwest.
Okay, I want us to understand what we're talking about. We're talking about regional the special status for the Northwest and Southwest regions. Key features that we must take note of for the special status. We have regional assemblies. Each region has a regional assembly composed of 2 chambers. We have the House of Regional Representatives, elected members representing the population, and we have the House of Chiefs, traditional rulers who safeguard local customs and traditions. Autonomy in key sectors. We have education. Regions can manage local schools, especially in line with the Anglo-Saxon system. Justice, recognition of the common law traditions alongside national laws. Local development, control over regional economic and development initiatives, and culture, promotion and preservation of the local Anglophone cultural and language, culture and language. Then governance. We have each regional assembly is led by a president elected by its members. There is a public independent conciliator to mediate disputes between citizens and regional administration. But now we are talking about a house, let's take House of Regional Representatives. These are elected members representing the population from the different divisions and subdivisions. Yes. Do we really feel that representation at the level of what has actually changed? That's the bottom line. Yes. Away from, because we have divisional delegates who have been operating for the past years, even before the coming into place of this. We have the governors who have been there, the DOs, the SDOs, and almost everything. Do you have a feeling that something has changed because we have the commissioner for this, a commissioner for that, and now we have a regional assembly president? We have the do the people really think?
My worry is that when we talk of divisional representatives and subdivisional representatives being in the regional assembly, like the voices of the masses of the people, what are the role of MPs?
Double counting.
So we are just rigmaroling. I think things have to really be defined. Honestly, Mr. Leo, we have to get serious.
The senators,
so because we are aware, except I am being fooled or I'm stupid, that we have 180 members of parliament. We call them the people's representative elected.
We have senators.
And they have constituencies. These constituencies are their divisions and subdivisions. Then when we come again, I will also have House of Divisional Representatives. And mind you, in that regional assembly, during their sessions, we have MPs who are represented there. MPs are there. We have senators there. So it boils down to what my friend Jarvis is saying here. A national income, let's be very situative. We call it double counting, where you have 2 persons performing the same role. Like he said, if there is success, they are fighting. I am the one who brought it. When failure comes, they detach themselves from it. So it's a difficult situation to really separate. So I feel that in the very honesty of the phrase special status, like we are saying, if we are to go by the Anglo-Saxon culture, it is either they close those houses of called regional assemblies, or they get rid of these divisional delegates and these people, because those persons are performing the same role. 2 persons performing the same role, and in different salaries and allowances. Now, like we said initially, let's say GBHS Munya has a problem. The principal now is confused whether he goes to Mr.
the
president or in charge of education, sports and culture, Mr. Waters, of the Southwest Region. That's his name. He's a public figure, so I have to call the name. That's his office. Whether he'll go to Mr. Walters Takam, or he goes to Dr. Itondembwa, or whether he rushes to the divisional delegate in Limbe, since it concerns a division, or he goes to the mayor. So these things have to be clearly defined, and that's where information and dissemination of information comes in again. These officials should come to the public and clarify the public as to who does what, when, and how. You understand? Because this is politics we are talking about here. So at times we get so confused.
Let me just add something.
Okay.
You know, when decentralization was being instituted, remember the government was at first reluctant to, because most of the people were clamoring for federation, and so the government accepted decentralization reluctantly, because the reasons being that we don't have enough experts, we don't have enough trained people who handle these affairs, because the decentralization entails devolving the powers of these government services, devolving them and giving it to the regional councils and the mayor and the mayors. Not that, it's just that they don't have enough experts. They have not trained people. Remember, we have a number of trained administrators, and then it's just now that they're instituting NASLA. So they don't have enough experts. So I think personally we should give them some time again, so that they can, you know, or maybe they sought for experts.
No. I want us to stay with this. I don't know. In France or the United States, I don't know where they train them. You mean that the experts he's talking about, are you saying that in Nigeria there's a school where they go and train people on federalism? People become look at yeah.
No, Mr. Leo, I think Nigeria has been a federation for very long. Nigeria has been a federation for very long.
What do
for over the years?
No, please. Our universities have almost all these departments, management and everything. Why not recruit from our universities?
Let me remind that you talk as if decentralization came to Cameroon in 2019. I mean, that has been in the constitution from 1996. Even before 1996. No, it is supposed to have been in place, and they put it in your
accelerated.
They put it the way you put it.
No.
You see what you have said. What you have said. I beg you to withdraw that, because this is what has killed this country up to this moment. That thing of progressively implementing. I mean, personally, I don't want to hear that phrase, that we are progressively implementing decentralization. What has happened in Cameroon is denial to have decentralization in the true sense of it. I mean, it's been denial. We are not talking about federalism that we understand. It's a perfect case scenario of decentralization. We're not talking about that. We are saying that even, I mean, if you want to centralize, even split resources 50-50, devolve 50% of the national cake to the decentralized structures, and let us see that you are willing. But go and find out, since you have been in decentralization, go and find out how much of the state budget is sent for decentralization.
Maybe at the level of council,
it will inform you, it will inform you that there is no real power, no political will to have decentralization work.
Let me just add to what you said something, and what Mr. Kum asked was the issue about our university. Our university has a faculty of management, social management sciences across. For more than 30 years.
You have political science.
We have political science.
Public administration
30 years.
The University of Boya has.
The University of Boya.
You don't have people competent to handle
thousands of students who have studied under political science and public administration for more than 30 years.
Management.
The University of Boya has trained people at the level of management, journalism and communication, all level, accountants at all level who can these things are you are explaining like one minister once said that the mathematics of petroleum in this country only him and the head of state can understand, because that's what you're just saying, that we need experts.
You may be getting me wrong. I'm just saying that maybe these are the reasons why we are not seeing the impact on the field. Because I myself I've worked with the public office of public independent conciliator on the field, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we are not seeing the impact on the field.
There are experts everywhere. They should make you
yes because see Mr. David, there is NASLA, I think the government does not do recruitment like that.
Do we even need NASLA?
The government
do we need NASLA?
The government.
Do we need
the question should be
that's another issue.
Please, we are not discussing NASLA here.
No, it's another wise element. It is well in the context of decentralization.
Please, let's stay focused. My question is the impact. What needs? Please, let's stay focused.
Okay.
Let me ask the questions now. It's just going. Everybody's saying what they want to say. Okay. We have 5 more minutes to discuss this, and then we are out of the topic to our second topic. What needs to be done about the level of the structures put in place under the cap of the special status to make people really see the need and be thankful that finally we are reaping some juice from the
Yeah, Mr. Leonard, I think a lot still has to be done, though much has been done. One, the government has to give these bodies financial autonomy. By this, I'm saying that their budgets should be increased, just like we talked of 3 billion, which is significantly insufficient. And so they have to be given a financial autonomy. Just like there's this aspect in the councils where they have a single account. The councils before used to have their own accounts, but now for an incident to happen in a municipality, maybe for example you find a corpse on the street, for the mayor to get rid of that corpse, he has to go and apply to the church. Now there's a central treasury. All these monies now, for you to take them, before the council used to have their own accounts, but now it is now everything has been centralized. So they have to be given that financial autonomy. And then the second point will be that they have to have a legal framework where they can take decisions, not ending a level of just writing reports and sending to Yaoundé. They should be given a legal framework. By this I mean a law should be voted on in Parliament about the special status. Special status has to have a law that governs the special status and how fines can be resolved. I think if those things are being done, will not have difficulty. And so I'm also calling on Cameroonians to try to listen to these bodies. Maybe if they listen to them, our problem can be half solved. Thank you, Mr. Leo.
Personally, in one sentence, the problem of these bodies is not even the financial autonomy or reliance on the states. Give them the powers they need. Give them the full powers they need, and bet you they know what to do, even to get the resources to manage.
Yeah, but the law says that they have been given the opportunity to also engage in businesses and raise funds to run their activities. This more than 5 years now. I don't know what business or ventures they have engaged to be able to raise funds.
Where do they get the money to run the businesses? From
the
60 from the 3 billion.
The little money.
Is that money enough to run the activities? Talking about going to business. Think know that this kind of bodies, they, like we said, they feel so big, and to them, if they want to open a business, for instance, let's say these things the way they are. These are state bodies. If a regional assembly or a public office corporation wants to start a business, even to build 2 classrooms, they'll start telling you that the contractor says it's 40 million, 30 million, and so on. So the money is not even first of all there. So what are you talking about opening businesses? That's for the regional assembly. Let's go to the OPIC. Like we said, the best the public independent conciliator can do, if he invites a mayor for a dispute and the mayor does not come, she has nothing else to do apart from the fact that at the end of the year, she'll state in her report that this happened. So give them that autonomy. Give the public independent conciliator, for instance, that power. That, okay, I have the power to impose, to sanction the mayor if he or she goes ultra-virus. Other than that, I don't know what to say.
Know, that issue
let me come in. Leonard, the mere fact of giving the leverage for the regional house to find ways of raising funds for itself tells you that the state has not attached any importance to that body. What do other bodies have that they are exorbitant amounts of money are allocated to them? I don't want to call names, but how do you explain that some bodies which do not have so much bearing on the peace, security, and national integration of this nation, like what is presented as special status have so much money put into them, a lot of that money not even accounted for. How is it that something of so much importance is asked to go and raise money for it to function properly? It tells you that the state does not give a hoot to what happens with the special status. After all, dust has been thrown in the faces of people, and things can quell. It should not be what we should even say, that a regional house has a budget of 3 billion. I mean, how does it sound in the first place? And then you see, it defeats the whole essence of wanting to resolve the Anglophone crisis. It defeats the issue.
I think, like Mr. Moa said, we did a research when we were in journalism and mass communication with Professor Kingston Gange, and the research was a decade analysis of Cameroon budgetary allocation and its place in communication. That is, his research. The research was to look at where the decade analysis of Cameroon budgetary allocation and in place of communication. That is, look at the amount of money that was given within the Ministry of Communication as compared to other ministries for 10 years. And that is where important, and within that research, it was observed that where the government spent more was where their interest was based, and where they spend less was where their interest also was not too much of, it was just something like ledgers. Now, in the context like what Mr. Moa said, I totally agree, because if you do that research very well, even us here, where our budget, our allocation goes, is based on the level of our importance and the emergent. Now, if you ask yourself, we are looking.
Says where the carcass is.
Yeah, so you have asked a question now: what should be done to make these bodies to be more performant? Number one thing, I think that, like I would say, this body also can raise revenue. I know Mr. Moa may not agree with this, but they can raise revenue. Yeah, but in how can they raise revenue? There's a simple money that is being missing that I see in Boya. You see these people that move around, post posters on walls and on poles. In other cities, it's not like that. Before you do that, the council tax you and allocate a specific area where these things are posted. Now imagine everybody just go and post. If there is a commission that makes sure that a law is voted within the regional assembly or the council, that before you post in this city, all this small A4 that you post around, you are supposed to pay. The council will generate revenue from that.
Let us not go there. There's already a lot of anarchy in that area.
Now, the money goes to the council, to the regional assembly.
That's so when now also
they will catch the grasshopper and catch the elephant.
That's where now also the issue also goes to. Again, like we said, there's a lot of, the second thing is this: our officials of the regional assembly need to also go down on the field, create an official communication channel. Nothing. In fact, they need a full communication team. If the presidency can have a channel, all local councils have channels. The people are on TikTok every day. People are on social media every day. We keep hearing they are doing a lot. Can we count it? Can we touch it? Can we feel it?
Where they can actually raise money, for instance, is they can do twinning. Twinning with,
they can write grants
with foreign
organizations,
regional councils, and those that have a semblance of federalism. They can do that.
Why not invade in agriculture?
We move straight to our second topic for tonight. We hope that the authorities, members of the regional house for the Southwest and Northwest regions, are also going to accept when we invite them to come and talk on TV, because most often when you contact some of them, they'll tell you that we need clearance from the president.
When they come, it's a lucky day.
Yep. So we also are expecting that they should accept to come and talk on TV. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
No, am I not happy?
Okay. They should be there, because we also are very ready to tell the people what they are doing. We move straight to the second topic for tonight, which has to do with youth engagement as we prepare for the elections this year, and the presidential elections. We are starting with you, the president of the Southwest Youth League. How are you mobilizing the youths of the Southwest region towards the 2025 presidential elections?
Well, thank you, Mr. Liu. I see my friend Moa looking at me in a scornful manner. Well, I wish to state it categorically that the elections of 2025, and by extension those of 2026, that's the municipal and legislative, are not going to be the same. The effervescence on the ground is so exciting, and we see a different atmosphere this time around. At the level of the youths of the region, under the Southwest Youth League that I had, of course, the Southwest Youth League is not a political party. It's apolitical. However, we have a civic right to political choice. We have been doing our best. We have been encouraging youths to register. That's a civil right. They have been doing so. We are so happy with the numbers and the excitement we see. As a matter of fact, we are preparing the second All Southwest Youth Conference. In the days ahead, we shall announce the official date of that conference. But one thing is for sure is that the conference will take place in Boya. Because why Boya? So many persons will ask the question, why no Mutengene, Limbe, and the rest? Why Boya? Because it is the regional body of the Southwest Youth League that's organizing that conference, and their head office is in Boya. We have all our 6 divisional bodies, so each divisional executive. Opposite me, you have Mr. Andeng Teres, who is the divisional president of the Southwest Youth League for Libya Alem. So if he chooses to organize a conference in his division, that's okay, we have no problem with that. So this is why it's taking place in Boya, because it's been organized by the regional executive. Now, the aim of that conference, the major objectives of that conference is first to bring the youths of the region together so that we prepare ourselves and our minds as to the elections which are coming up. As youths of the region, we have a responsibility as well to make sure that our region is safe and calm before, during, and after the presidential elections of October 2025, and by extension, the municipal and legislative. Mind you, in the days, weeks, or months ahead, I say it with authority, that the Southwest Youth League shall take a position as to the 2025 presidential elections. So far so good. We are contributing our own quota. We are doing a mobilization. And when the right time comes, we shall suggest to the youths as to what to be done and what not to be done.
You say you're going to take a position. Taking a position as to endorsing or denouncing some candidates?
We don't have a mandate to say that this is our candidate. We have a mandate to encourage youths to register. Voting is secret. So we cannot say that at the end of the day, the youths of the Southwest go and vote CPDM, go and vote MRC, go and vote SDF. We have a duty to sensitize the youths of the region. And when the time comes, when I talk about taking a position, that for this period of time we have been doing this, we have been doing this, we have been doing this, we have encouraged you people to register, you have done so. So now the time has come for you to go and make your choices. So we leave you to your consciences. We leave you based on the fact that you must have read the manifestos of all the presidential aspirants, and let your conscience be the best judge as to what awaits you, us, the entire nation, for the next 7 years.
Okay. Yes. How engaged are the youth for these elections? Do you see them excited, engaged, or rather discouraged?
I think that if I compare what is happening now to what has happened in previous elections, it would be fair to say that there's a step up.
Okay.
But that step up to me is highly insufficient to be able to give the warmth that should surround a very important electoral consultation, political consultation like the one we are waiting for. I'm afraid that even with the stakes, there's still a lot of youths are still not warm about registering for elections, about even mobilizing themselves and trying to know what candidates have have as package in their manifestos to be able to take very informed decisions when it comes to voting. I'm afraid that the youth are still highly distracted. I still notice, Leonard, I took our time. You remember the day Arsenal was playing against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person who want to take our time a lot for football, but I went down the streets of Boya and decided to witness what was happening, to be able to make a simple comparison with what is happening in the political sphere. And I saw so much conviction in the youth when that match was going on.
Most of them have played, they have betted already.
Yeah. So they had their tickets. I said it. I saw them with tickets in hand while they were watching the football match.
Yeah, hoping to catch
I mean,
up.
if you want to know where in front, opposite Njefobi, that the bakery, without publicity, without doing publicity here, they had tickets in hand, and each time there was a near score or a score or a near miss, somebody was opening his ticket to look at it. And so it tells you that that conviction is not even the love for football, it is love for what comes. That is it. But you expect that love, a little bit of that love, could be given to address the issues of this country, the issues that touch deep. In fact, that has even the issues that have made the misery that the youth now have to go buying tickets every time a match takes place. You expect that a little bit of it should be given. Pay attention to what can change you from buying tickets all the time. They don't want to think about that. They're not registered for election, and they're not thinking about who will be their leaders tomorrow.
That's none of their business.
This is what we concentrate on. And the mishap, the whole disaster we have is that the state, the country, the leaders of the country have decided to attach more importance to those things that distract the youth, so that those things that matter, the youth will not care about. Of course, once you get the youthful population, whatever you want, you will get. There's a deliberate ploy to distract the youth from the political life of this country, so that those who want to have the country on its knees the way it is, they'll continue having it on its knees. I'm afraid that if something is not done, and dramatically so, this country, October 2025 will come and pass, and we'll get more plunged into dungeons that will find it very difficult to come out of. The youth of this country are not concerned about what political consultations are going on. I'm really afraid. And so I've listened desperately. I was in church the day before yesterday, Easter Vigil, and my priest was clean and square that go and register for elections and make sure you cast your vote, because that's where your life lies. But do they listen? That's the million-dollar question. When we were in church, as the priest was speaking, they were nodding their heads. But I sat there, I just imagined that, suppose we leave this church now and Barcelona is playing against Real Madrid. They will forget that anybody ever spoke to them. And that's what the Cameroonian youth has been turned into. Let's leave that place and somebody just offers beer. They'll forget, because those opiums have been built, it's been inbuilt in their minds, and that's all that we care about.
Okay. What is the impression you have of the engagement of young people towards politics, especially as we look forward to these elections, presidential elections this year?
Mr. Leo, I think most of the youths they have been discouraged, given the fact that the what obtains in this country does not favor the youths. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. Most youths are unemployed. They go to school, they come back, they don't have jobs. They tend to become Okada riders. They get themselves involved in drugs and so forth and so on. But then us as youth leaders, we should not abandon them. We should encourage them. That's why we have been doing a lot of work, going on the field, sensitizing them that getting involved in politics is a civic responsibility. Because if you don't get involved, others get involved, and then they will decide and choose the leaders for you. Tomorrow you cannot come and blame anybody. So they themselves should get involved, and then they choose their own leaders. We are doing a lot of work sensitizing them, making sure they get themselves registered on the electoral registers. And so I think the youth of this country should not get discouraged. We are there to accompany them during this difficult moment, because it has been like that for a very long time. The youths have been discouraged. I go on the field on almost a daily basis, and I talk with most youths. They tell you they tend to explain their problems. They don't have jobs. They have gone to school. They come out. Some of them have engaged into agriculture, and which is very good. You get involved in agriculture, and so it is going to help you a lot. So I'm calling on the youths to get involved into politics. They should get involved. Looking, for example, this coming up presidential elections, we have youths who have already made their intentions known. We have people like Dr. Asong, we have Cabral Libi, we have Serge Espoir Matumba, and a lot of other youths, Shewa Gestel of the Liberation Democratic Party, and many other youths who of course, Pastor Mbe, who has been on this platform several times, and so many other youths are becoming conscious. They are becoming conscious of their political future in this country, and so we have no other choice than to encourage them to take up these elective positions. They should become mayors, they should become parliamentarians, they should become senators. I mean, they should get. Of course, I've just talked to people who have already made their intentions known, to become president of this country. And so the youths are becoming conscious of their political future in this country, because
what I can add is, Mr. Lou, is that the level of frustration we see amongst the youths is partially as a result of what they have gone through. Most of them today have become alcoholic addicted out of frustration. So it's very important that the state of Cameroon does something very tangible. And at the same time, I am calling on them and telling them not to give up. By so doing, I mean that we know there's that general cry that we vote or we don't vote, what will change? There is always time for everything. I instead challenge them to look at that as an opportunity to bring themselves and get themselves more involved in the process. Because with their numbers, the advantage is that they have the numbers. With their numbers, a lot of things can change. As per the statistics released by ELECAM in December, we have just about 2.7 million youths who have registered on the electoral register, out of the total of 8 million plus who have registered. By the way, it's important that we give a tap on the back of ELECAM. They have tried. I mean, they have registered more than half of the population to voters.
Half of what?
The population.
What population?
Eligible voters.
Eligible voters in
Yes,
Cameroon
sir.
is
Yes.
How many
Yes.
How many do we have?
As far as the eligible voters are concerned, ELECAM has at least achieved more than half. See, there's something that we fail to understand.
Okay.
That a lot of persons misinform the public out there.
Okay.
if a LECAM has registered 8 million plus, it means they have registered more than half of the qualified voters.
No.
No, let me explain. If Cameroon has a population of 30 million,
According to which census?
no, I say if.
No, please let him talk.
No, but
Yeah.
the last census was
As
20
per,
million.
as per the
30
recent
million
statistics, Cameroon has a population of about 30 million. Now, if you look at the structural distribution of this population, how more than half of this population are those who fall within the age bracket of 0 to 20 years. And let's assume that the population is divided into two: 15 million 0 to 20 years
15
and
million.
15 million 21 years plus. So it means that those who are qualified to vote are those from 21 years plus, who are 15 million in number. So assuming that Elecam has registered 8 million, it means they have registered more than half of the voting
Have you
population.
seen that list of 8 million?
Yes, Elecam published the list.
Where is it?
Elecam go and read.
Nationally.
Please,
Yes,
please,
Elecam
please,
published that in
please,
December.
please. Yeah.
Elecam
Yeah.
published the list in December, 8 million plus. And with the difficult security situation of the Northwest and Southwest, I feel that if they have registered 8 million plus, we are not saying that it is the best. We are saying that especially when it comes to the Northwest and Southwest region with the difficult security challenges, if they have been able to register 8 million, they should do more. But I think having registered more than half of the population, I think Elecam
I
has
think,
done
let me
something.
just, before I answer that question, you said something which I just wish to, for the issue of data, because I'm more scientific. Like I asked a question according to what census, because I know that the last census which was conducted has not been published till date.
So
Except
what's
you.
your estimate
No,
of the
I'm
last
not. I'm just saying that I'm going by statistics, by data. Tangible. We are looking at the last census at 2005 to date. We have not had the official result. No, I'm the last census we're talking about 16 million or so, 20 million or so, 18 million, or 10 million, 20 million. But we have not had a result of a census. You will not tell us emphatically, the public, that this is the result of population of Cameroon with source and data, because you are a pedagogue. You know
That's
that.
why I
No,
said
you are a
that.
pedagogue.
I didn't
Yes.
say 30 million.
So
That's why
to
in
say to
geography, you don't give
yes.
exact figures. That's why I
Okay,
said that.
let me just land with my point. My point is for the youth to get actively involved in these elections. Everybody must assume their responsibility. The opposition also must assume their responsibility, that at one point abated or they discouraged the youth from getting actively involved in the elections, because and I kept saying that our political parties need to move to a high level of maturity. Yesterday, election, when elections comes and gone, they will say no, the ruling party is it, no, they always cheat, no, if you vote not to change, no, don't register, no, some other parties will say no, don't do this, don't do this. At the end of the day, whether we like it or not, they have contributed knowingly or unknowingly to what voter apathy in Cameroon. Look like 2018 presidential election. We all watch what happened at the Constitutional Council. Many of them tended to be a debacle of discouraging many people from engaging in political decisions. I'm talking about many of some of the opposition parties, because they were saying that, oh, nothing will change. They have stolen the election and this, that. Whereas the data was clear on the fact that if you vote, where are the procès verbal? Let us be clear. Some parties have been responsible to engage others not to vote. So we are calling on them to assume that responsibility and tell many people that it is the more you vote, the more the elections will be credible and the more it's difficult for it to be stolen. So the bigger the number.
Mr. Kum, I cannot till today understand why MRC.
No, we are not talking
about
party.
We are not talking about party. I'm just saying that. No, let me land now. Let me land with my point. Let me land with my point.
If it were another party, you would have
no, not party. No, not party.
I wanted to bring out.
Let me land.
I know what
I was.
Send your message across without necessarily tagging.
Yes, I
was not going to call just MRC. I wanted to call about 4 political parties.
I was still landing. What I'm saying is that opposition parties need to take their responsibility and point out where the problem is. The problem from genesis to revolution in Cameroon's election has been voter apathy. And the voter apathy has been the reason why they see a particular party dominating. Statistics don't lie. 2018 election, 3.7 plus voted. The population of Douala alone is about 5 million plus, which means that Douala.
Okay,
I'm saying about. I'm going by your pronunciation. You said let's use about, because we cannot talk with statistics, with facts. With certainty. It's about, let's just say 4 million, which means that not only half of the population of the entire Douala, if you go by numerics, actually decided the fate of the entire region. If you go by numerics,
entire nation.
The entire nation, if you go by numerics, which means that we, the youth, the population is voter apathy gives a particular party the big issue. The issue I'm telling the youth is that you should not be discouraged. When they tell you that, they will tell you that if we vote not to happen, it's a lie, it will happen. If they knew not to happen, they will not be coming to your locality and be campaigning. If they knew not to happen, they will not be coming to your locality and be giving bags of rice. If they knew that already won the election, they will not be coming and giving money and mobilizing. Just wait, elections time is coming. You will see top officials who go to their villages to campaign. The reason is because they will be with you, they will sit with you, they will kiss your children, they will come. We already saw some in I don't want to call the village in the southwest region. They were selling, they were selling. The one was selling in an up license, opening wine. I'm not calling. I'm just saying that I saw wine in a bar. That is campaign. It has started. Yeah, it has started. So you will see this, because this issue is, you will see them and they will come to churches, they will hit drums, they will dance, they will tell you that, because they know that election has consequence. My dear brothers and sisters, you people are young, very soon we'll go old. I feel pity, because I always cry about my social insurance benefit. When I look at our senior citizens line up as social insurance, I see myself in that line, and I also ask myself, is this what I will go through after my retirement? If that doesn't ring a bell to you, you should know that you have a responsibility. Today you are strong. In the next 10 to 15 years, the kilometers that you used to run, you walk the walk. Today you are strong. The kilometer that you used to walk, you will crawl. Today you are strong. The kilometer that you used to crawl, you will not be able to reach half mile. At the end of the day, the decision, and what even pains me are the entertainers. They say, no, we are not involved in politics. We are not involved in politics. You will build houses. You will build houses. You will have land title. These land titles, they would. I don't want to. You will have land titles.
My last submission.
What if you? Is not
I just wish to say something for 30 seconds. I know you'll come for me later.
No,
we are joking anyway. You know, we said they should not call names, but you narrated a story that has described somebody already. That's okay. Now, what even got me more annoyed in 2018 was the fact that, as per statistics, during the proclamation of the results, we had just over 3 million voters. Understand? Now, so the youths and the population, we are just being penny wise, and you finish it, pound foolish. The same day the Constitutional Council was proclaiming those results, there was an online survey from MTN. Over 8 million Cameroonians were following that proclamation. What were you watching? You did not vote. What were you watching? What were you watching?
They were watching.
I said over 8 million Cameroonians were following that.
And they will say they stole our vote. They did not vote.
No, because the figures were clear. As per statistics, just over 3 million voted. But the day Atangana was proclaiming that result, 8 million plus Cameroonians were following live. Now, take it again. The presidential elections are coming soon. On the voting day, from 8 a.m. when the voting takes place to 5 p.m., people will be in the quarters eating dog meat, like what happened in my quarter in 2018 during the presidential elections day. And when they called them, they started calling some of us to intervene. Now, they will be in their houses from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., doing nothing, not going to vote. Then when it is 4:55 to 5 p.m., when they want to start counting vote, they flood those places to count the vote. Whose vote do you want to count? I'm telling you. So we are just being foolish. That same population which flocks that place to count those votes, if you had gone there and voted, your vote would have changed the situation. See, there is what we call, people say that elections are rigged. I cannot justify that. But I want to take myself as an example. In 2018, Sunday, October 7, 2018, I supervised elections at Lower Mokongo B, what you call Sampit, in Boya. The facts are there.
You
Listen.
observed elections.
I observed.
Yes.
No,
You were polling president.
I can say I supervised
Ah,
because
okay.
I was a polling president.
Ah, okay.
I supervised. So see, See, 95% of those who came and voted on that day were people of 40 years plus. Now, at the same time, during the counting, it was very clear, and you can say it with authority. if we want to find out, we'll find out. 99% of those who came and voted for CPDM. Please.
Of course, the data don't lie.
So we should, even if we want to assume, those things are just claims that they rig election. It's true. Politics is a dirty game and it's self-interest. If you give your opponent the opportunity to steal, he will steal it. There is no politician, put me anywhere, who is a saint. There is no politician who will not steal if he has the opportunity to. 2020, I was in Munya, under tight security during the legislative and municipal elections in Munya. A party who is not that is not a party in power cornered another party to buy their votes. That is politics for you. So people should not come and sit here and say that they rig election. That is politics. If this my late father said, politics is Njange. That's actually true. Our late Mao Zedong of China said politics is war without bloodshed.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you have the means to have it, and then the instance said politics is what? At authoritative allocation of values in the society. And one other author before I leave says politics is who gets what.
We are talking about.
So how you get it is not a problem.
We are talking about the youth who are not getting involved in the political developments of this country.
Exactly.
And we have given that responsibility which belongs to the youth who have not taken upon themselves to get involved. But there's another tentacle of all of this. It is state institutions which have not helped the issue. Personally, I think that if we talk, for instance, about a list of registered voters in Cameroon, for me, the only authentic list will be one that will be published online for the entire nation. Anything that could have, when Elekam is saying these have been published at council areas, is for me, it sounds like a joke. The law says that Elekam should publish a list. That's what, let me tell you, this looks small, but how do you expect a youthful population to feel when to simply respect the law that binds it? That was supposed to be done in December. By December 30th, Elekam has not published a list.
We are halfway gone.
You see, I sympathize with the youth of the country too. Somehow I sympathize with them, but there comes a time when you must.
Sympathize with us, so
No, I sympathize with the youth because it is a deliberate ploy to dissociate them from the electoral process, discourage them from getting. When people go and register and you don't publish the list as the law requires, would you sit back and really think that there's a credible electoral system in the country? So is it even worth going to ask other people to register? Elekam should take responsibility for those who are going to refuse to register for elections because they are seeing the mess that is going on. Elekam should take responsibility. And every other person, whether it's the Constitutional Council, whether it's the Appeal Court, whatever, if you are not done your job in the frame of elections to be able to encourage other people that there's a credible system going on, then take responsibility for not having done that, and then blame yourself if the youth don't participate in the politics of this country. That's what I really think. It is not only the youth who have decided not to register. It is also state institutions which have discouraged them from going to register.
So why don't they take that as a challenge instead?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree. I'm giving a responsibility that everybody their responsibility. But at the end of the day, the youth must be able to rise above all these speed breaks that have been put on their way.
Good.
Because that's the only way to uproot what is not going right. That's the only way. You cannot expect
I'll tell you,
to go stay in their background and people have to do things for you.
Mr. Kumlona, I'll tell Mr. Paul, I'll tell Mr. Terence and Mr. Taj Jarvis morning, afternoon, evening that the opposition in this country is not helping the situation.
I've said that in my...
So whether we like it or not, they are making the regime in place to be very, very, very comfortable. And of course, the regime likes the game that way. So for us to even start thinking of getting serious, let the opposition leaders of this country get serious. As it stands, I, Eswa Kisitombong, have said it on air that the opposition are not serious. Let them start getting serious, and then we shall get serious.
What you have said is not news.
Because it's a reminder.
It's not news. The truth is that the opposition of this country, for now, I think they are still joking. I hope in the days ahead to do something. The opposition, any opposition party in isolation cannot leave any mark.
Mr. Moa, that's very good. See, the CPDM in question,
any opposition in isolation may not.
I want to ask this. Let me throw this question to them. The regime in power of the CPDM, of course, as powerful as it is, it still has coalition with Issa Chiruma Bakari, with Maigari Bello Buba, with UPC. But yet you find a situation where the opposition parties in Cameroon come out clearly and say that they cannot come together as one. And they think that an individual candidate will find it so easy to beat the CPDM. Even if we say genuinely, this is a joke. If the ruling party has been in power for 43 years, it's in power because it has coalition, especially in the north where elections are won. And they come and tell us that as an individual candidate, you want to beat the CPDM. That if they put you on the level ground, the CPDM
we do not want to think that the refusal for coalition, for instance, by some political party, is a ploy to keep on plunging this country in what is happening. I do not want us to go to think about that, but they are pushing some people to beginning to believe.
Okay, we have to end at this juncture. Yeah, one last word, and thank you for coming.
Mr. Moa, I think the use of this country should first of all start by registry. That is the first step. You register.
We have already called for registration.
They should start first of all because the number of people who are not registering is more than those who are actually registering. So the majority of the youth are staying away from registry.
I mark you that election registration is ending in 2 months.
Yes, so, not reach August.
So we
because it has to end before the
calling
2 months. I mean, and when it ends, it ends. The electoral college is called, and that's it.
So we are calling for the youths to get themselves registered.
When we are talking, they are sleeping. They will come and stand.
They should get themselves registered. Then they should protect their votes also. They should protect their vote. And then when it comes to the opposition not wanting to form a coalition, several times the opposition have cried for the electoral code to be changed. I'm sure maybe that's one. I don't know. Maybe that's one of the reasons that the electoral code should be changed. That there should be a level playing field for everybody, and that there should be double ballot. I'm sure single ballot. Single ballot and double voting.
All over the world, it will be very difficult to have a 100% level playing ground.
We are saying that ours is very bad.
No, that's why I said there's no way in the world.
We are not expecting a very
time now.
No, we have ended. I already told him thank you. Yeah, thank you too for coming.
Thank you so much, sir, and we look forward to having my Media Prime in our upcoming conference. So when the due time comes, we shall make it.
The conference is in June.
Oh, we are not very sure yet. Maybe between the end of June and early July. So when
every Southwest youth should be ready for the conference, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are watching us from Dian, from Meme, from Kupe Maniguba, Libialem, or Manu, and Meme and Faku. Please get ready as a young person to be part of the Southwest Youth League's
Southwest Youth Conference.
Okay. It's coming up very shortly. Very, very important decisions or resolutions are going to be taken there. Your president says that...
Are we waiting for a motion of support?
Definitely no.
Okay. Your president says they are soon going to take a stand. We're waiting to hear the stand. Thank you for coming, Mo.
Thank you very much, Leonard. One of our duties is to be able to educate the audiences that we have, the publics that we have on issues that touch on the life of our lives and the life of the nation. And I think that this has just been one of the platforms. We hope to be coming forth again as time permits.
Thank you for coming, Jarvis.
Thank you. I want to seize this moment to wish a special happy birthday to Mr. Eno Ako, who celebrated the birthday earlier this week, and many more years, and may God continue to guide and protect him. And to the Christians of the Roman Catholic Church, It is a moment of reflection. It is a moment where we need to sit as a people and pray for the repose of the soul of our Pope Francis, hoping that God will grant Africa this time blessings, that maybe during the conclave, some African cardinals who are in the position of vying in for the papacy, may God may grant Africa. That is the wish that we are all praying for. And like they said, if we were horses, then we will beg, and that's what we are begging.
Amen.
We thank you all for coming, and to you for watching. Eli and Desmond for production. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.